But now let's see also the context in which the health-oriented nutrition research is basically framed. The objectives we had, and I hope you share those, it's first of all filling the gaps in the scientific knowledge. I think that we all need to fill these gaps to make sure that we have finally very robust data, very robust results. We need to address in the work, and it's again another challenge to put social sciences and so-called hard sciences together. How do we foster innovation? And this is how do we get the industry into the picture? We also need to support policies. More and more policymakers are asking, robust scientific data in order to provide to people and guarantee rules and regulations. And then considering the whole entire lifespan as well, from at the moment of the conception up to the age of adult. But that's, again, it's taking also some hinders. We see the complex regulations and interactions. This is sometimes, also becoming a burden. We don't know how to deal with the different regulations. There is also a lack of awareness, as I said before. People think that, food you just find every day, and that you don't need to produce it in the way we all think it should be produced. Here's the industry present. There is a lack of also research investments. And you'll see that through the platforms we have tried also at the European level, but the national level, to fill that gap. And then there is the fragmentation of research efforts. I would say that this fragmentation continues to exist at the European level. In some instances, it's been reduced with cross-countries collaboration, but fragmentation remains, and where remains also a gap is what we call subcritically, is in this institutional collaboration on the level of capabilities of the institutions in Europe. In order to put forward, and I'm happy to announce to you this, we have asked the policies on food and health. We have set up a group of experts with the aim of looking at long-term approaches. Basically, the challenge we have is if we are dealing and responding to the question, if we are dealing with food and health, are we sure that we have programs, national programs, which are really fitting this food and health? And then if you look around, you'll see that, we have a very fragmented areas. There are some countries who have tried to put together national food and health programs, but there are many of the 27 member states who do not have this. So we have tried to look and see how could we come with some sort of advices, to seek also advices to the scientific community, how to come and propose actions for national programs. Because we could not think to go together to move in this complicated area if there are not also national programs responding to that. So one way, and the way we will look at it is through this food and health research group, is to look at the societal challenges deeply, how they are actually framed, to identify research gaps, technology tools, infrastructure, how at the national level this infrastructure could be playing a role, a different role, how to increase the cross-border research program, but I'm not talking cross-border in this sense of geographical cross-border. I'm talking about cross-border also about disciplines. It is much easier to talk about interdisciplinarity than just making it happening. And this is basically the challenges that we have to deal with. Now, how do we deal these challenges, and how do we try to help solving problems with the framework program? Well, it's also for us, and again, a way to look at the European perspective. But when I say the European perspective, and understanding what does mean that, we look clearly at what can be done at the European level. What could be the European added value if something would be done at the European level and not at the national level. Because I see that many requests come, and indeed there are many also expectations for the research framework program. You see that in the area of cooperation, we have 32 billion, but that's again something which concerns more than 10 thematic areas, and food, agriculture, biotechnologies only has 2 billion to spend in the 7 years period. Now, the framework program, it's only representing 5% of the civil research in Europe. So it's not 95%. It's basically carried out in the member states. But I also like to say that the framework program represents also between 20 and 30% of the amount of money allocated for competitive calls. So it's, again, 70 to 80%, it's out in the member states. When we look at these indicators, then we can surely say that there is still room for increasing collaboration, for increasing the critical mass, and, of course, for looking at aspects which need to be tackled at the European level. And here, just to give you a quick snapshot of how the funding in the food area, but also including agriculture, evolved. You see that, for the 6th framework program, for instance, we had 685 million euros, which basically, because of the famous BSE crisis, went mostly to the food safety area. Now we're diverting that. We also look at areas, as I said, like nutrition and health, of course. And how do we look at these areas of nutrition and health? But, again, we also take into consideration the well-being. Well, we have mainly 5 areas in our activities. On top of that, we have the consumers, nutrition to look at nutrition, diet-related disease disorders, food processing, food quality and safety. So you see the difference. Food quality and safety was a standing alone activity in Framework Program 6, is now one of the aspects in Framework Program 7, which is dealt within the activity 2, Fork to Farm, Food, Health and Well-being. And then we have also the environment and total food chain. This is to take into consideration the environmental impacts on the total food chain. But which are the main directions of research in nutrition and health? Well, looking at the consumer aspects, and these are our what we call main lines on which we try to base our work program. So the work program that you look annually with the topics is basically taking roots in these main research lines. So for the consumers, for instance, we look at the determinants of food choice. How do we choose food? Communication and education strategies. When we go into nutrition, we have there the neurobiology, eating behavior, prevention, foods with human nutritional and health benefits, new tools and concepts in nutritional science, nutritional economy, sustainable eating habits. These are lines which are basically underpinning our work program. And how is the funding of this research, European research happening?